Hey guys, we're live. Hope you're doing well. Sunday afternoon, and we just do our 100x Crypto Academy um, live stream. So we come on here every Sunday and have a bit of a quick chat. Um, if there's not a lot to talk about, then we sort of just keep it short. But if there's heaps to talk about, then we stick around. Sometimes we do these for over an hour, but it just depends, on kind of like what's happening. Um, and that kind of then we just go from there because it is a bit of a casual kind of thing that we do, chat, and then just talk about our thoughts on crypto and just the market in general. So it's not always about crypto, but I'll probably talk a little bit about the kind of strategy moving forward with the retiring and stuff. But I'll also touch base as well with the KuCoin thing that I've been doing. So I'll show you that. But anyway, yeah. So another week. What's been happening in your neck of the woods? It's the 6th of August already. Man, how fast is this year going?
I know it's August. Well, we went to the local show, Pine Rivers local show. So that was on the weekend. That was yesterday, and it's just a normal local show.
Like the Echo or
I don't know
something,
how
is it?
many
Or what?
people. Yeah, it's not like the Echo. You know what I mean? It's just a local one. So that was. I mean, the Redcliffe show and there's everywhere. Every showground has their show, right? And then of course there's a big one, the Echo, that's probably coming up shortly. So yeah, and there's lots of people Echo. We don't really go to the Echo because it's in the city and it's just way too many people. So, and you're likely to catch something in there.
Yeah, always
Not
do.
COVID. You won't catch COVID in there, but you'll catch everything else. So yeah, that's what we went to the show. That was great. Had some family gathering, birthday party kind of things over the weekend. That was good. What else is happening? Okay, Oliver, how you doing, mate?
Hey,
um
fellas.
yeah, so there's just the usual, and then occasionally you get the news items. And apparently, yeah, so they held the interest rates were held again. They didn't put the interest rates up for the second month in a row, so they've stabilized at the moment. But I don't know. I think it's going to. I think it's going to continue. They're just holding off until something breaks, and then it's going to go up again. Uh, but it's interesting. A lot of people I know have had to move, and we actually may have to move ourselves. There's been sort of change of circumstances, so we might have to move house. And there's a whole bunch of other people that I know that their rents have gone up so much
Yeah.
that they have to try and find another place. But it's very difficult because I've heard stories of how many people are turning up to get houses. Now, the last time we really had this was about 5 or 6 years ago when we were in the rental market, and we had, like, you turn up for a show, like you have to visit where the rental, what you're going to sign up to, right? It's part
Mm.
of the inspector, and we had 25 people show up to the last one that I did. But I'm hearing other people now. Someone told me, this, just hearsay, I don't know if it's true or not, and maybe it's on the news. I have seen things on the news, but up here in Brisbane, I've seen where they say things like, too many applications closed. And when people rock up, they literally, the other day I heard, like, I thought 25 was crazy, but someone told me that 500 people turned up at a rental inspection um,
What?
the other day. Yeah,
Oh my
I
god,
don't know if, yeah, I think
that's
it's 500.
crazy.
That's what I got told, and I'm like, okay. But even if it's not, even if it was 50 people turned up for applications, um, yeah, it's crazy. So it's because, and another thing, there's apparently 1 million homes in Australia that are not being rented out, that are actually empty. No one's living in them, which is fascinating. So they're
Yeah, they're
trying
probably
to.
just that's interesting.
We
Maybe it's
don't
just
know
investors,
why.
Chinese investors.
Yeah, it could be. It could be. I'm not sure of the actual how it works. Like, it could be that someone owns it. They're not renting it out for some particular reason. Maybe it's not good enough, but that doesn't make sense because I've seen some pretty terrible places rented out. they can be appalling, and they still rent them out and get money for them. So I don't know why they're not renting them out, but maybe they're just a holiday home. I'm not sure, but apparently there's 1 million homes in Australia, and they're trying to get access to that and get people into those homes. Also, I don't remember if I mentioned last week, but they're talking about all the in the city where they've built these skyscrapers, where all the businesses have gone belly up, and there's no leases going on there. Wow, 650 to 900 a week in Melbourne. There you go. In the city they've got businesses. You know how businesses lease, right, office space. Well, it's so bad now. There's whole buildings that have got no people in them. So now what they're doing is the big companies are like, we need to make money. So now they're trying to forcing the council on that to rezone these areas as residential. So they're changing like CBD, where people work, into residential buildings, and they're re-changing the building from like offices into actual people's homes. And they reckon like they're pushing for this to solve the problem. Like obviously they're going to make so much money if they can get people into these buildings, and retrofit them.
Yeah.
They're vacant. They're not making money. So they're like, how can we make money? We got a housing crisis. And
well, that kind of makes sense.
It is, yeah. So, we're going to be seeing people live in these big high rise in the city, retrofitted buildings. I don't know when that's going to happen, but it'll probably eventually happen. And the prices will still keep going up. And the amount of people that are trying to find places is going to continue because our population's increasing from the number of people that are coming into the country. So it's incredible, the people and what they do to try and get rental, let alone like buying houses. The buying houses is even more difficult with the number of people that are after it. So I don't know. I haven't seen the latest data from the real estate, but yeah, that's for the rental market that I know is pretty crazy.
Yeah, I'm looking at just some rentals here in Brisbane, and it's pretty crazy because obviously it depends on kind of like what you're renting, right? But here, this one's $880 a week. It's a
Fairfield,
4-bedroom, but Fairfield's a pretty good area, so this one's pretty ritzy. This one's a house, $750. Then you go down. That one's probably a little bit less, more dilapidated. 2-bedroom house.
2-bedroom, $520.
And this one here is kind of like your typical Queenslander, or typical. This is like a typical kind of Queensland house in the 1950s. Tons of them around the neighbourhood. $650 a week. 2000s 5 bond, 3-bedroom. So yeah, it's not, for a single guy, there's no way you could do that. And I remember when I was doing that when I was still in Brisbane, there's no way I could afford it. So I was renting. I was sharing, like I wasn't renting. I was renting with someone else, but I wasn't. It was kind of like separated, so I didn't have to
share accommodating.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So it was.
Yeah.
These it was tough, man.
There's a fascinating new thing that I'm seeing. I don't know if there's a. Oh, okay. Yeah, there's a name for it. It's really share accommodating, but it's called co-living. That's one of the words they use. Didn't know it was a thing. I saw it a few years ago, because we know someone who did it, where what they did was they took a normal 2-story unit, a simple townhouse, right, with upstairs and downstairs. And what they did was the door in between the two, they just locked. And what they did was then the developers sold or leased the top half to one family and then leased the bottom half to one family. Even though there was only one garage, right? They didn't care. One person got the garage and the other person didn't. And what they were doing was, let's say it was $350 for the rent, for the lease. They would be getting $350 for the top and maybe $300 for the bottom, right? And so now they're getting $700, let's say $700 on a place that would normally only get $350. So what they were basically, because they're putting two families in there, and all they did was separate it with a door that was locked. So they're like creating their own duplex, but in a building that has one that's not a duplex. Now, what's fascinating is now these new companies that when you go searching, they'll say on the address, it'll actually say R1, R2, R3. And it took me a while to work it out. They're actually referring to rooms. So I saw a place with 6 bedrooms and they say room number 5 is available. The other ones are all being taken up and they're charging $300 a room. And what I found out was,
crap.
yeah, so some of these places, like a 6 bedroom times 3, 6 threes, what's that? 1800 a week. So a normal house, I mean, okay, 6 bedroom is not really a normal house, but it's 1800 a week that's coming in for that house. But on a smaller scale, if it's a 3 bedroom house, that would be $900 a week coming in if you've managed 3 individual people separately. And then these companies that are actually building them, the developers are building them, and then they're leasing them exactly that out, like called co-living. And they are the ones that are collecting, $300 and something per person and actually leasing them individually to people to share with other people. So they're actually doing share accommodation.
Yeah.
And this is how they're getting more return on their investment, because if they have the house as a normal house, they're only going to get $500 or $600. But if they manage the individual people in it, they're going to get $900, right? So this is a thing that is really big, and it's, in a way, it's terrible, but it's profitable for these companies. It's a way for them to make extra money. So this is a new thing that I'm seeing.
I mean, no, that was happening when I was there as well, because they were these labor shortage, so they get like immigrants. You have like one Indian in 6 bedroom house, so you'd have 6 Indians.
Yeah,
they all make
yep.
They all cook curry together, so that's the food thing solved. They all share the kitchen. That's how they were doing it, and they don't care, because they're just there to make money, and then they just make the money and send it back home. So if they can stay in Australia for as long as they can, they will, and it's big money to them. So I was working with one guy. He was driving the van, delivering deliveries, and then immediately he would go and do his cleaning job at night. And I said, how many hours sleep do you get? Oh, probably about 3 or 4. And he was drinking coffee.
Wow.
And he literally said the doctor said he was literally going to die, because he was drinking 15 cups to 20 cups of coffee a day. And the reason why he was doing that, so that he could keep on working.
Wow.
His body was starting to shut down. And he said, I nearly died. So just to make money. So, it's fucked. But so the housing's pretty bad, which is in Australia, from basically what I gathered. But I mean, there's a lot of, I hear this stuff from you, right? Because you're in Australia now, and it's kind of changed a lot. I think it has in the cost of living. Cost of living is just gone through the roof. I mean, when I left Australia was 2017. That's when I left. That's when I came to Thailand. So I know that back then I couldn't have done it. I couldn't have been able to, live, because I was single, and there's no way I would have been able to do it any longer. And that's kind of like part of the reason that motivated me to sell all my shit and then just move over to Thailand just to see how it would go, because I'd always be able to come back, obviously. Did you know, at our job that I was at, when I left, true story, the guy at the time, I don't know his name, he had a bald head, nice guy, pretty nice guy.
Yeah.
Not the fat guy, the guy after the fat guy.
Yeah, no, the fat guy, he was just an asshole. But yeah, the other guy, I know who you're talking about.
Bossman was a fat guy. He came to Thailand. He's running a bar in Thailand.
Really?
Yeah, and he contacted me, and he's like, "Oh, if you ever go to Thailand, yeah." So that's what Bossman did. He was right into Thailand. But no, the dude after the dude, he was running a bar in Pattaya. But the dude after Bossman, the guy when I was there when we left, can't remember his name. But anyway, he went to Chiang Mai. Came to Chiang Mai, and I told him, I'm leaving. I'm going to put my notice in. He's like, oh, actually, give you the bullshit. And then he's like, just sad to see you go, mate. Fucking full of shit. And then I said, I'm going to Chiang Mai. He said, what are you going to do? I said, I'm going to go to Thailand. He goes, oh, really? He goes, yeah, I want to go to Chiang Mai. He goes, oh, I lived there for a year and worked there. And then I said, really? And I said, yeah. And then he's telling me all about it. So I was going to go and deliver my notice, and then it turned into a half-hour conversation that he was telling me all about it, what to do. And I'm like, oh, okay. So I've gone from like a dude that kind of liked me to he totally liked me, and then he goes, and then when I was about to go, and I shook his hand, because it was like an informal kind of thing, because I'd put my nose in.
Yeah.
He literally did this, Garth. He went over that and he reached over to the desk to me and goes, "We don't take people once they leave. That's company policy. But if you ever want to come back, call me." And that's what he said. That's what he said to me, because he was like, that was kind of like that's what Steve would have said. Once they go, don't bring them back if we don't like them. Yeah. Treat them. That's how we want to punish them.
They're ruthless.
That's what he said to me. He said, "You want to come back? Right? Just give me a call." And I was just like,
"That's nice."
But you know what I said to him? You know what I said to him directly after that?
Yeah.
It was the funniest thing. I said, "Don't worry, I won't be back, but thanks for the offer." That's what I said to him. That's what I said to him, like literally, like within like half a second when he said it, he goes,
"Yeah, didn't even have to think about it."
Didn't even say, "Mate, I appreciate it, I do, but I won't be back." He laughed, and I laughed, and then that was it. I left. I've never told anyone that.
I know, I haven't heard that story. That's funny.
Yeah, but he actually was actually my buddy. He was but I didn't really get along with him at work until I told him that.
Yeah.
Anyway,
that's interesting.
So anyway, that was a little story. But yeah, having left when I left, it was pretty bad for my situation in the sense of cost of living. So I don't know. It's obviously got worse now.
Yeah, look, there's people that are killing it out here, right? Like, like there is industries where people are making really good money. But let's be truthful about it. Most of them are in jobs. Okay, now sure, there's business owners, that's a different category, but the people who are in jobs, right, they still have to turn up for work, and it doesn't matter whether you're getting paid $2,500 a week. If you don't turn up for work because you get injured or get sick, okay, maybe get some sick pay, but there's situations where things happen in life, and you may not be able to work again, or you might need to take care of someone else. So I know people that are making $2,500 in concreting, right, in the construction industry. That's the standard pay. They're making $400 a day. Great money. Really work hard in concreting, right? But because it's concreting, it's tough, and it takes it out on your body. So after doing that for years and years, you have broken knees, broken back, your hands are all screwed up. And this is all, a lot of people in the trades are like that, especially the hard industries. Yeah,
that's true. That's true, Oliver. I mean, like if you've got a trade or something, or you got you're a like a chippy or something,
electrician, chippy.
Yeah, you'll always get work somewhere.
Yeah, they'll be working, right? Like these people that are making $45 an hour, right, and $60 an hour now, which is great, and they might be in the construction and they're pretty busy. But the problem is they drive around in a brand new Hilux, worth $80,000.
They're all fucking maxed
out. Yeah, and if they're renting, they've got a nicer place than a crappy place, right? So they pay a little bit more in rent. Or if they're fortunate enough to have a mortgage, well, in the last, I don't know, 12 rate rises or whatever, it's gone up. So literally, it was like practically at 0%, and now it's a lot more. And so, if basically the repayments are right up there now to what they were, this is killing a lot of people. So the point I'm making is you can earn more money, but you would be living a better lifestyle as opposed to other people, and your costs are going to be higher. And it's all relative, and it doesn't take much. We were talking about this last week. It's the tax rate's quite high. Once you get over $100,000, you're paying a lot in tax. So, sure, you can do deductions and stuff like that, but at the end of the day, the more money you earn, the more money you're going straight to the government. So, it is interesting. There is people doing well, but right now I feel like I don't know. I feel like there could be a recession. I don't know. There's it's interesting. You see a lot of lease signs up when you go down like on the normal road. You'll just see lease after lease after lease for businesses, and the only businesses you see are like medical, anything associated with medical, right? You see everywhere. So anything to do with medical, everywhere. And then you see the big companies, the big multinationals, they are everywhere with their franchises and with their, like Bunnings and all, Kmart and all the big names that are owned by big international big companies with all the money. They come in and basically scoop up and take as much of the money as they can. But small business is like literally dying in this country. And I don't think that's going to change anytime soon. So, yeah, it is an interesting phenomenon.
Yeah, I mean, going back on what you said about the chippies and tradies, I mean, my nephew's a chippy and tradie, and he left. We used to work for a mate, but then he went for a company. But I know that a lot of these chippies are working as their own sort of owner operators. They get screwed because of these because they don't get paid. They do the work, and
That's
then
right.
the guy's like, "Oh, I don't get paid because I haven't got paid," and then it all comes down the line, and then like the major builder is not paying them because they get everything subcontracted out. The roof's contracted, the walls contracted, the garage is contracted, the freaking driveway's contracted.
Everything.
They're not paying the bills, so everyone downwards are not getting paid. So they're like, "Screw this, taking the court."
That's right. And every time there's been so many developers go bust, bankrupt. So when that happens, it means that they leave all these people, all the creditors owing money to. And it's been, I don't know, there's been like at least one a month, big one in the millions. So, and all the tradies are not getting paid and they go under.
Yeah, I feel sorry for those little guys because they're the ones that they've got to pay their people as well. Like they might be smaller businesses, medium. Yeah, they might have 2 or 3 staff. So what do they do? They're not going to get paid. They're screwed. So yeah, I don't know. It's just, I just think it's just a lot tougher in Australia right now to be doing your own business. You're better off just being an employee because I know in Thailand it's different here. There's still all your big businesses like, Coles and equivalent to your Coles, Costco and Bunnings and all that. That's going to be everywhere. But there's tons and tons of small businesses, people that just have, their own shopping cart, scooter with a cart that's all set up, or they've got their own little, like you can get a little restaurant and that going. There was a place we went to the other day and we asked her, how much is this little place? And she said, 5,000 a month. 5,000 baht is, you divide that by 20. You can do the maths. It's not much. $250, something, 250 US, 300 US.
Mm-hmm.
But that's what she rents the actual shop for. And then she's got obviously all her expenses. But I just think there's so many ways to make money in Thailand if you want to start your own business as a small business. It's really, really easy. It's competitive, but it's easy. You can make food, you can do all this sort of shit. But you just can't do that in Australia. It's literally impossible.
Too much red tape.
There's too much red tape. But, so, I guess what I'm getting at is it's getting harder and harder for us, for the average person, right, to have enough money when you get older. So one of the things that we do is kind of look at crypto. But, with that said too, I mean, this is what I believe, right? This is what I'm going to say. And it's kind of like, well, you guys do crypto, then you're not talking about how to make money with crypto. Yeah, we do talk about how to make money with crypto. But with the latest, we used to do a lot of stuff, okay? There's DeFi, there was staking protocols, there was some some sketchy stuff as well, which was kind of we're in and out. Then we did the ICO platform, Launchpad,
ICOs,
mining. There's some IoT miners that kind of like a bit sketchy. Airdrops. There's so many things that we did back in the day. We did masternodes, and it was just one thing after another. All these things kind of worked at the time, but then they don't. And then the latest thing now that's just happened is Curve got hacked. So Curve is like the biggest DeFi, oldest DeFi protocol on the planet, and they just basically got hacked by this hacking team. And so it's like, why would you try to earn just 6 or 7%, 8% yield on your stable coins or your Ethereum or your BTC and put it into a protocol, and you got like 100 grand in there to make $7 grand a year, when those protocols, there's no they're not even properly audited, or they're not regulated, or there's no people say regulation's bad, but regulation is there in crypto for a reason, and that's to stamp out the bad actors. And okay, people will say, oh, the SEC, they're all like trying to crush crypto, they're trying to kill crypto. And you can probably have that argument if you're like staunch crypto. But on the flip side, the SEC's job is they're slow to act, but the SEC's job is to basically stop money laundering, fraud, and bad actors. And sometimes that kind of crosses the line with crypto in the sense that sometimes they don't get it right. Right? They're kind of like, they're naming all these coins securities and all this sort of shit. But they're there for a reason. They're to stop these bad actors. And there's so many bad actors. And the people have lost millions, if not billions of dollars. And that's what the SEC is there for. So they're like a necessary evil, even though they're a pain in the ass. So people lose money all the time. And most of the money that they lost in 2022 and 2023 is in DeFi. So so what I'm telling you is basically, don't put any money in DeFi unless it's only a small amount and you're in and out, because you're going to lose it, because nothing is safe now. And all the other stuff that we did in the past worked.
Just to add in with what you're saying, the total value just on DeFi Llama is 6.84 billion total value hacked since they started tracking it.
There you go. That's a lot.
How much?
That's
6.84 billion. And Curve, which you just talked about, was $61 million they just took off with.
The only thing that I would probably trust, and even this is sketchy. It's not sketchy, but it's legit. But it's not. It's really kind of like, you really got to really crunch the numbers.
I don't know. Trust and sketchy in the same sentence. Do you want to reevaluate that, NG?
Yeah, this is kind of like legit, but it's a game.
Well, yeah, mining is legit. It is a real thing.
Yeah, and these miners now. So you got the Bitcoin miners, these L7s, they're all profitable. But now the Litecoin mining, see how they've just basically halved. So the Litecoin halving just happened. You can see this drop here. That's because of the profitability of these machines drop down now. So they used to be making, decent money, $14 a day. Now they're making half of that, not even that, $5 a day. So mining is one of those things where it's got to be long term, and you're going to be mining, and hopefully you can get some cheap electricity or run it on solar even. But not many people do it, maybe because of the cost of the solar, I guess. But long term, this sort of stuff, you're mining one BTC now to hopefully hold it for the next 5 or 6 years, and then you can cash out, and it's like a couple hundred thousand at the bare minimum. That's what you're doing. That's where you're making your money, and you're absorbing your costs through the electricity if you got cheap electricity. So it all comes down to just how good your machines are, when you got them, when you started mining, and how cheap your electricity is. So you can make money with mining. It's just you just got to have a really, really cheap electricity source, and you've got to have good machines. So yeah, and the whole craze with the GPU mining, it's still happening, but it's not like it used to be. So I've always liked mining, but it's just one of those things now it's been suffocated with all the big boys. So what do you do, right? So what do you do now with all this stuff? DeFi, I don't trust DeFi. I don't trust DeFi. Funny enough, Oliver, Latrobe Bank offering 5.9%. Okay, this is what don't repeat this, but when I won't repeat this, but when I was overseas, I heard that there was guys in the when I was in Cambodia, there was guys in Cambodia that they would bring, because Cambodia's got two currencies, I don't know if people know this. They've got their own Khmer, which is worth fuck all. Then they've got the US dollar. So you can literally walk the street and you can buy something with US dollars and they'll accept it, right? Those banks back then, they were giving like 7 to 8%. Maybe it was some of them were even high 8% per year. And these are like largest banks in Cambodia. I don't know how they were doing it, probably because of the Chinese money coming in, huge development. And what these guys were doing is they were bringing in millions of dollars from US dollars, and then they'll put it into a trusted, if you could call it trusted, but it was pretty trusted, Cambodian bank, and they were getting 7 or 8%. So I don't know what they were lending it at. They were probably lending it, but they got millions of dollars, or even just your own money. They were leaving it there for 4 to 5 years at 7%, 8%, and then pulling it out. That's what they were doing. So it was just arbitrage with the money. Obviously, you got to trust them, but that's one of the things. They had a high, offering a high percent rate. I don't know why, but they just did. So that was one thing. It's funny that you talked about that Latrobe banking. But then again, these smaller banks, man, they're all kind of caving like anything. And a lot of people are putting their, they got scared, right, with all the recent bank failures with the one in California. What was that one that failed? The one in
Silicon Bank, that was one.
Silicon Bank, yeah. So these smaller ones have failed, and now what people are doing is they're just like whacked out. They're like, no, I'm going to take my money and put it into like a big bank. So these smaller banks, now they're like, oh fuck, we lost our customers. So just be careful. We might see some more smaller banks go under. People lose their money because people are pulling. It's like crypto. They take the money out of one thing and they put it into another. Banks, they got to be liquid. They have to be liquid, or else they're operating insolvent. And then they take that money, put it. So that's what they're doing in the US. Apparently, that's what I heard. I heard a bit of diff in Australia to get covered by going. But just well, that's what they say. I know. I wouldn't trust it either. Really, what do you do? I mean, really, to be honest, I got my money in Bitcoin. That's where I got my money. I don't have to trust anyone. Okay, but then again, that whole thing is, Bitcoin's going to go up over time, and I believe it will. It has. So that's where my money is. But I don't know.
So something we haven't talked about for a little while, which slightly related to crypto, probably will come around to it. We'll see the connections. But it's been a while since we mentioned AI, right? And to give you an update, I've still got ChatGPT Pro, so I'm still paying for that. And I can't say no to it because it's just an amazing tool, right? Now they've actually increased the limit now. I think I actually get more chats now per hour on GPT-4, and you can still get 3.5, and it's quite fast, but 4 is a bit smarter. Anyway, they've got new features. They're basically, now you can upload files to it, like PDFs, and you can actually analyze it. Now, they've had this in other apps to do it, but now they've integrated it in here. So you can actually upload, I think it's a 10 megabyte limit so far, and in beta, but you can upload a document, and then you can like analyze that document. And it can even do charts now. You can actually make it do charts, and with the code interpreter, you can actually make it write code. Like it's pretty crazy what they're doing. And I've heard rumors of ChatGPT 5 coming out, and all the major platforms, Twitter, Facebook, Google, they're all competing. Now, what's interesting is, remember when NVIDIA went up in price? Remember, like, literally shot up in price overnight. Well, that was to do with all the chips that NVIDIA make. And every chip company, right, is selling their chips and to the highest bidders, right? Because they need these chips to run these models, to process and create these models that they're using in the AI. And it's like a race. And the default, what's happening is all these chips and resources, computing power, is the demand for it is insane. So every company that's related to chip manufacturer and AI and all that sort of stuff, they're making a killing because it's like I don't know, it's like an arms race, really, or like a race to the moon, because whoever can really keep expanding the technology, it's pretty crazy. I mean, I just saw the US just announced that they had a drone that was size of a normal aircraft, literally running on AI, which they said they wouldn't or whatever, but they did. I just saw that in Twitter just a minute ago.
They got shit
So
we never even.
yeah, I know they probably had it, but now can you imagine like that sort of technology in there? And it is literally straight out of Terminator, where they use AI and it just literally scans you, sees you as hostile, and kills you, like, or you're a target. Like that's literally the technology that they have. So it is pretty crazy what's happening in the AI space, and of course Twitter just renamed to X, and they've got now, I've actually seen ads now on Twitter, which is pretty interesting. And the ad revenue is being shared with, the people who have got, they used to call it Twitter Blue. It's now called Twitter Premium. So there's a lot going on in that space. So it's very interesting. And how this will relate to crypto, time will tell. But anytime you, I suppose, add technology, which is what AI is, to something, we're going to see benefits. It could be in the actual development time for new projects, because it's to the point where you can code up stuff like pretty quickly, with using AI. So it's very interesting. There might be new blockchains that are created, from it soon.
Yeah, well, I did do a post here in Ethereum last week about it, and it was
Nice, you're onto it.
Yeah. The Twitters could be basically what I said was they've got all these ways to make money with Twitter: micropayment, stickers, paid advertising, affiliate creator services, subscriptions. Right. So this is what this new Twitter X and how Elon Musk is kind of like developing it, but. This is just a rumor that with the micropayments and stuff, if they incorporate Dogecoin, which probably is, he likes Dogecoin, but there's no guarantee that they'll be incorporated. But if they start using Dogecoin in micropayments on Twitter, then the price of Dogecoin could moon literally overnight.
Yes.
And would
Now, isn't it just Dogecoin is a Litecoin fork?
Yes.
Yeah, so it's pretty quick. Like Litecoin was great because it was quick confirmation. So Dogecoin would be just as quick.
Yeah, Dash should be better, but Dash is much cheaper and it's faster. But yeah, it's just one of those blockchains that just kind of never really took off and it had a lot of potential. But so the that's what's happening in Twitter. But so just keep an eye on it. Obviously, has inflation hit in Thailand? Well, since I've been here, it's gone up 30%. So cost of living here is up 30%. So
wow,
that's a lot, but it's not as bad as like Australia. So, because it's all the people here don't make as much money, but the cost of living here is a lot less. So, when people say back home, oh, I make $100,000 a year, right? Yeah, okay, you make $100,000 a year. So what are you paying in tax? Is that okay? That's after tax. Or like pre-tax, $100,000. Then you got, well, let's just say they take home $100,000. Then they got living expenses. They got if they're mortgage or they're just renting, food, all the expenses, insurance, healthcare, all that stuff, right? They're probably only making $20,000. If they can save $10,000 if they're lucky, because by the time you put in all the miscellaneouses, so. It's all comparison. Yeah, you're making $100,000 a year, but how much of that are you actually saving for the future? Probably not many people will be able to save $20,000 or $10,000 because you're making all this money. It's never going to end. It's not like that. But here in Thailand, they make less money, but it's all compared to the cost of living because the cost of living is low. Everything's low. Everything costs less, cheaper. But also the wages. So if you can earn a decent wage. The best way to do it in Thailand is have your own business, because it's really easy to start a business, and try to make at least the average Thai person makes about 15 to 20,000, depending on the job. Average person is 15,000 baht a month, and then you got the people in the government, probably 17,000, 20,000 a month. So you got to divide that by 20. So you're making $1,000 a month. That's what the average Thai person makes, $250 a week. But then you look at the cost of living. It's stuff all, right? So it's all relative. So yeah, it's gone up. It's gone up quite a bit since I've been here, but it's all like it's gone up a third in cost of living. But that's not the same as a third in Australia. A third in Australia is like 10x more than Thailand. So you know what I mean? It's all relative. Thai baht's down as well. See, so it's not, which is kind of good because it stretches me more. But so going back to what I said before, I would this is the best strategy. Okay, I'm just going to nut it down to 30 seconds. This is the best strategy. I wouldn't actually invest anything in crypto right now in the sense of trying to make money online, unless you want to trade. Okay, actually, I'll go back to what I said before. I'll quickly show you the results. So this is, as you guys know, if you're in the Ethereum group, you'll see that I've done a test. This is probably like 4th day or something. So I just thought, we talked about trading bots the last couple of weeks, and there's people trying to sell you this trading bot thing, right? And I said, no, I'm just going to do the KuCoin one. So I put $100 into these pairs: BNB, Litecoin, Dogecoin, and Bitcoin. So my current portfolio is for $400. $100 each is $392. So the biggest bleeder right now is Litecoin. It's funny though, because Litecoin just had their halving. So I'm down $6, maybe $6 and some change on that. But the other ones, I'm only like BNB, I'm only down like literally, actually I made a profit today, but I'm down like 8 cents in like 4 or 5 days. And then the BTC, I'm down $1, and the Dogecoin, I'm down 86 cents. So I did make a profit today of 9 cents on BTC, and I did make a profit today of BNB, 53 cents. But then I was down negative anyway, so I'm still only 8 cents negative on BNB. So the BNB, Dogecoin, and the BTC, I'm actually not losing any money. I've lost like very little. It's the Litecoin one that's kind of bleeding me, which I've lost like $5, $6. So yeah, out of 4 days or 5 days, I'm down like $7.
Total profit, yeah, $7 down.
$7, yeah, in the negative. So I thought that was interesting. And you can just get into the details if you get into the bot page, and you can see the how it's working, right? You just get into each bot here, and then you can just go into I think it's this one, yeah, and then it's got here, right? It shows you all the trades, spot trades. So yeah, it's interesting. I don't know. I'm just going to let this run for the next couple of months, and then see if I can sort of like turn a profit from it. But I wouldn't go out and spend any money on like these trading bots. What was that one we talked about the other week? I just think it's just like, it's almost like it's real dodgy.
Oh yeah. I don't know.
Well, I can't remember the name, but it was like you pay like $29 a month, and
yeah, it was. I was trying to think. Did we list it? Did we put it in Discord or not?
I don't know. I don't think we did, because we probably wouldn't want to be promoting it. But basically, yeah, they said join this bot. It's pretty well known, right? It's like $30 a month.
I'll find out what it is again.
And you pay this
bot
money.
Trading platform.
And they're saying like, oh, you can make like, it just depends. But if you earn 2 to 3% a month.
Bitscap. Yeah, you got Crypto Hopper, Pinex, Wonder Trading, ATP Bot, Bitscap. Yeah, Bitscap. That sounds like one of them. And Trade Santa.
Yeah. So here's the problem with this, right? Cool. Congratulations. See, so there's a lot of people having this thing, but You get a 7-day trial, but then once you get the 7-day trial, I think it's like $30 a month or something, pricing $23 a month. But the problem with this is to make your money back, you won't even you need to spend between 2 to 5,000, right, at 2%. If you make a 2% profit on the 2 to 5,000, you're just going to cover your subscription. I think it's more like 2,000. I think 2,500. Right. So if you do the maths, it's ludicrous. Well, I'm not even. You're going to have to for this thing to really work, and hopefully it can make you 2 to 3% a month, which is better than banks. But you're going to risk, anywhere from say 10 to 20,000 to make it worth it, because you still got to pay your subscription every month. You know what I mean? And then it goes even more to 55. So these things, they look great. And if you can make money and you get into it, and if you can make 10% a month, then yeah, it's going to pay off. But you've also got to put, quite a bit, like 2,000 or 3,000, 4,000 into it to make it worth it. And it's got to be able to give you that at least 4 to 5% a month consistently. And that's what these things don't do, from what I've heard, is because. Yeah, okay. You see these YouTube videos, they're promoting their affiliate link. Okay, fair enough, right? But they say, "Oh, I made this money. I made 7 or 8% for the week." That's it. See, so it's not about just what you made for the week. It's about what you made for the last 6 months. Because when crypto goes in a bear market or it changes or whatever, right? It's not going to give you the same. The bot is just not going to give you the same type of profit consistently. It's going to be up and down. But anyway, that's from my experience. That's from what I've been reading and stuff and seeing. I'm not saying they don't work. I'm just saying it's not. A lot of people out there that saying, "Oh, it's just get into this bot. It's not. You'll make all this money. You don't have to do anything. You just turn it on and just buy the subscription." That's not the case. You've got to really understand it to know what you're doing, and then it's just not a case of just switching and clicking a button. Otherwise, everyone would be doing it, and everyone would be rich. Anyway, that's just my opinion on it. But I mean, so there's a degree of self education with it, and then you got to put a decent amount of money in it, and then it can be something that can work for you. But don't believe these people that are saying, "Oh no, just buy a subscription and just turn this thing on, and then you're mate, you're good, right? You're gonna make all this money." It's bullshit. That's why I just did the KuCoin one, right? Because it's free, right? And you just saw my results there. I mean, I'm not trying to promote anything.
That's it. All right, I've just got the screen. I was just want to show you something. Not sure if it's related to crypto, but I'm sure it's going to have an impact. So can you see the screen now? Yep. Okay. So this is just one video. So if you don't know what this is, we're looking at a thing called LK99. It's happened in the last few days. It's basically a superconductor at room temperature. Now, there's been the original video was posted, and what's happening, if I scroll down, I might find it in a minute. But the video that was posted, they show the video in China. This is it here. So it's unverified, but what they're saying is that this particular substance they create called LK99 is basically a superconductor at room temperature. Now, before they could make materials superconduct at very cold temperatures, but now, they're waiting for other people maybe to reproduce this. So it's very interesting. So this might blow up in Twitter, and you might even see it on the news. But the implications of it is that if you have LK99 as a room temperature superconductor, it means there's a whole new realm for electronics and materials with zero resistance. It means things are going to be faster and more efficient. Energy production and storage is going to boost that because of the superconductor material. And also transportation. So, for example, in cars and electric vehicles. So if it does prove to be true and replicatable and is a real thing, it's quite possible this technology could be used massively. So this has just come out now. So yeah, if you want to check it out, I don't even know if it's on YouTube yet, but it's definitely on Twitter. It's come out like in the last day or so. There's also been other places replicating it. And they're talking about the thing called quantum locking, where you can see how it's locking in time. It's basically locking into space. You can see how this is superconducted. But these other ones here aren't, put down to cold temperatures. So yeah, then there's a lot of other videos as well. So don't know if it's a legit thing yet, but it's not people. Because there's always, videos out there that make things out to be not true, but this could become a thing. So this is a sort of a video of it levitating at room temperature, which has never been done before apparently. So that's the video, and so be interesting to see what happens. But that's the idea. This is what happens when you have a superconductor it's cold. It means it can just glide along. Remember they talked about trains that were superconductors, and that never really worked out because they had to keep the track cold and everything like that. It was like ridiculous temperatures, but it allows for like zero resistance. That's the main purpose of it. So yeah, very interesting. So you never know. Like, I mean, remember when COVID came out? It came out from China, and then it took a couple of months before things happened and it changed the world. Well, who knows? Maybe this technology is going to be the same sort of thing. Oh, there you go. Look at that. Memes are already out. People were excited about ChatGPT. Now they're into LK99.
Yeah, there's tons of stuff.
Anyway, I just thought I'd share that in case you. Yeah, and apparently someone's already got a coin LK99. So watch out for scams. Because that's I haven't Googled it yet, but I believe there could be some tokens already related to LK99. That's how quick it is, because they're going to get in on the hype.
Yes.
And we could see a whole new category, to do with superconductors and LK99. Who knows? I haven't looked at it on CoinGecko yet, but I bet it's there.
I mean, that's how quick things move. They just move so fast now, and they
so LK99 is on CoinGecko now.
Yeah, wouldn't surprise me. They're all just trying to get the hype. LK99 is on CoinGecko.
Yep. And it's only been a day, I believe. So it's probably a scam coin, for sure. Yeah, it looks scammy. But you will see probably more.
20% today, dude.
Yeah, there you go.
It could be a scam coin, but look at the liquidity.
Yeah, most likely it is. It's not probably nothing to do. But yeah, there's something for you. So who knows? This might end up being a new category. I have no idea. But yeah,
it's going up.
Temperature superconductors.
It's going up. Have a look at the chart. Oh my God, it's going up. So it's up 17% today. So that's one of them anyway.
Yeah, there's a heap of them there. There you go.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Absolutely. But see, that could mean with that sort of technology, it enhances other things. Like it might make a difference to cars. It might mean that AI can, go a lot further because the chips are running, with this new technology. So yeah, who knows where that's going to go? But that was what I saw on Twitter today.
I reckon the best business, if you had the money, you could do a small business, but I mean, they're already the best business for the next 10 years. Not even that, for the next forever. Till they create something new. Is drones. That's what the business is. You create drones. There's tons of little drones that they're developing in Ukraine. And who knows what they're developing in the States. But one I saw the other day was this it looks like a lawnmower. It's but without the handle and stuff, and it's got wheels and it's got a mine on it, and it's a RC. It's basically a radio controlled lawnmower that just got big off-road wheels on it, and they just drive it. They can't see it because it goes in the grass, and it just comes up to the enemy and detonates like a tank. That's one I saw. Then the other ones that they're using now is they look like Sea-Doos, those big ass Sea-Doo jet skis, but it's kind of like more of a boat. They got like I don't know how much 40 kilos of explosives on it, something small, and they just drive them and they actually hit a warship, a US 2 Russian warships. They didn't sink them, but man, that thing would probably be worth 15 to 20,000 to actually get that RC, that Sea-Doo kind of thing, right, rig it with explosives and send it out 400 kilometers on the water and hit a patrol boat that size is about $40 million. And they almost sunk it. It's crazy. So this is like drone. Yeah, it's all on the news. There's just drones and now destroying tanks and stuff. So it just goes to show you how far technology is leaped, and what I'm saying is the how fast they're innovating, because they have to, because Russia's got like way more artillery, way more people, soldiers, so they're trying to innovate, and that's where the innovation's coming. So that's going to happen not only obviously in the war, but with a lot of startups are going to start to do things like AI. AI drones, you use all that stuff that you just talked about, maybe this new technology with this.
Imagine you could embed, the latest version of ChatGPT into a device, like a dumb device, like, I don't know, or even a central control on your house, or, turn your air conditioner. I mean, I know you can do it with your phone and press a few buttons, but, with some of it's quite intelligent what you can do with it. So, that would be surprised if someone, put some type of framework around it so that, for controlling stuff. So yeah, it'd be pretty wild what's going to happen.
Look, I always say that, technology is great, but use the technology, but the growth, this is almost a guarantee, right? It's literally a guarantee, in my opinion. If you study the history of the US, China, and everything, now China's come to a point that they're going to high end. They're now building, really good electric cars, and they're leading in most. I don't know if you knew this, but that China is leading in most of the technology, all the different sectors. Most of them, maybe not most of them, probably about 60%, and then the rest of them are like America. But they're leading in way heaps of stuff that America are really they're worried. But anyway, but the one thing I mentioned this a couple of weeks ago. The one thing that they're pretty much screwed is now the cost of living is gone. Everyone's making more money in China now. They can't produce stuff so cheap anymore. So now they're producing high end stuff, right? But they still need the cheap shit made. Just like America needed their cheap shit, so we exported all our technology, all our know-how to China, gave them all the machines and said, produce the shit cheap, give it to us. That's what they did. Then they got smart and then did it themselves. Now they're in a predicament 50 years later, after giving them so much money, that they've got the biggest army, or growing to be one of the biggest army. And they're so well advanced, even in 50 years' time, they'll be bigger than the US, technology-wise, and they'll have the biggest army. So now, but they've got a problem. The problem is they're in the same predicament that America was in. It costs too much to produce shit. And what they're going to do, or they've already done, is outsource all this shit, just like America did to them, is go to Africa. And that's where it's going to be. The next growth sector is in Africa. So why am I telling this? Just give me a second. They're going to go to Africa, right? And it's already happening now, right? Because Africa's got a cheap labor source. They've got good climate. They've got rich soils. They've basically got everything that and they're growing region. I think Nigeria is the fastest growing city in Africa, fastest growing country in Africa, and in GDP volume wise in the world. So they're all bringing their shit to Africa because cheap labor. So what's going to happen is the same thing's going to happen in China. What's going to happen in Africa, but it's going to take a while. It's probably going to take 50 years. Same shit. People are going to start to make money. They're going to upgrade their lifestyle, and then you're going to have probably in about 10 years' time, you're going to have this majority of Africans that have a lot of money. And they can spend money. They have a lot of expendable cash. They're living in houses. They're driving the latest cars. 50 years ago, they were just in mud shacks. Not anymore. This is going to happen in the next 10 years. They're going to be elevated, and they're going to have cash, and they're going to be spending their money on crypto, because crypto is the biggest growth right now in crypto is actually in Africa. So as people get lifted out of poverty, you're going to see this gap. It's going to still be poor, but then there's going to be this huge majority of Africans that have got cash, and they're going to be buying crypto, and that's where you're going to see this wealth transfer in Africa, and then they're going to be buying crypto. So unfortunately, the only thing is it's probably going to take 10 years to really kind of see it happen. But as it happens more and more, then more people are going to get rich in Africa, and you're going to be like the Chinese now, where they've got the middle class. They're really rich. They're really well off. They've done well. But China is really kind of restricted with the crypto stuff at the moment, in mainland China anyway. So it's going to happen, guys. It's if you just study the stuff on how the world is developing, it's literally by default. We're going to get, I don't know how many Africans, 200, 500 million Africans. They're all going to be buying crypto. So they're all going to be, they're buying it now, but they're going to have more money to buy it because they'll have more cash. They'll be more richer. And that's a lot of bloody Africans, right? And they're going to be buying crypto like crazy. So, the next 10 years or so with Bitcoin is going to be absolutely crazy, because we're going to get to a point where we're going to have 10 billion people on Earth, and there's only 21 million Bitcoin. So, you just got to see these, notice these transformations in the economy, in people, in societies, and then how does that relate to what we're doing here with Bitcoin? And the bottom line is, if you can get some now at 29K, and if you have a vision that it can be worth a lot of money in the future, as everything does what it does, and if you can hold your bit of Bitcoin, your block, as Oliver says, you're going to be like laughing. I personally think we're just going to be laughing, because it's going to be worth seriously a lot of money in the future. But the downside of that is we're going to have to wait. Okay, so that's the good news. That's the bad news.
That's right. Hey, when you were talking about China before, did I mention last week or the week before? Did I talk about the shipbuilding capacity for China? Did I mention that last week at all?
No, you didn't. No.
Didn't? All right, I'll show you this quick article if they want to. I think that's all I got for you. But I thought I'd just share, because this goes to show, like, it's the whole innovating into innovations into how big things are, and so what this is the Navy in the United States, right? Basically says that China has 200 times greater shipbuilding capacity than the US, and this is the graph that they had when they were doing their documentation. That little blue line there is one ship is made for the US, and this here represents 200 ships that are created in China. That's their capabilities. So it's quite fascinating. So there's the little thing there. So they're basically explaining that we can make one ship, but at the same time, China can make 200. And these can be warships, essentially. So their capacity to build like the biggest navy in the world will dwarf America. And it's just a matter of time. There's some of their ships that they got. It's just huge. So yeah, like I wouldn't have thought that. I would not have thought. Well, there you go. China's onto their third aircraft carrier. Like, remember when they had none?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, they converted the first one, and they did a second one, and then they did now they built their own one. But their rate of aircraft, like, they can build a lot of small stuff, and they can build it fast, which is true, the production, but they can't build aircraft carriers like the US fast enough. They could probably build 3 aircraft carriers in the next 10 years. simply because they just take too long to build. It's just high, and America's already got like 11 aircraft carriers, 12 aircraft carriers, so they're not going to win it with aircraft carriers, but they will. They can make a massive fleet of like patrol boats and destroyers and stuff. A lot of small stuff, really fast. Drones. They're leading in drones actually.
Yeah.
But so the Americas kind of basically 50 years. They'll have a bigger army than America. The only way that America can beat China is through technology. But with that said too, if there was a world, there's only so different, a lot of these scenarios. The problem that China has is this oil, right? And so if they actually got into a world war with United States, the United States would do the same as they did with Ukraine. They would get all their buddies, gang up. Europe, Australia. Australia's already signed up. Australia's already into this, and everyone, they're not happy with Philippines. Philippines are not happy with them. Maybe Vietnam might be sort of neutral, but anyway, basically they've got this shipping route to get their oil. They can only go one way, right? And in a long-term war, if it ever came to it, they just wouldn't be able to get their oil, and they wouldn't be able to keep their production going.
That's right.
And that's what would kill China, because America's got like
doesn't China get most of its oil from Russia?
Yeah, Indonesia, Russia, but it's got to go all through the routes, right? It's got to go through Philippines. America just built like 5 new bases in the Philippines. They got jacked off with they pissed the Philippines off. But yeah, I mean, I think it'd be the dumbest thing that China could do is to invade Taiwan. It would be the dumbest thing they've ever done, because it would just devastate them, and the US would just crack that. Like, they would bring sanctions galore, and they would just kind of like try to cripple.
China gets all of its oil from Russia, is a top supplier, followed by Saudi Arabia, Angola, Iraq, and Oman. Those are the biggest suppliers to China. I mean, I just think it's stupid. I just think it's stupid that they would have a war, because America's like, they know how to wage wars. They know how to do wars. Like, that's their thing. 50% of the oil actually comes from the Middle East.
Yeah.
Isn't that fascinating? So, so imagine here's the thing. So if you want to stop China from, advancing, you cut off its oil. So you go to Middle East and start a war there, and stop production, stop transportation. And this is what people don't realize. It's such a big thing. But back in the day when navies were big, right? Like, people don't really think about it now, but the navies exist and are present and allow trade to happen. Because if you didn't have navies, you'd have like pirate ships, which they do exist, but you'd have all rogue states taking oil tankers, which does happen, or arms or whatever. Like, literally, the navy sort of enforces its laws out in the ocean, kind of thing, right? And it's just fascinating. And this has been going on since they had ships. And if you would like to stop, if all of a sudden US didn't have its aircraft carriers, right? Well, the balance would shift. Like, it would just would, because you need all that weaponry and stuff like that. It has an influence over the whole area, because if you didn't have it, then it would be occupied by other ships, and then they could trade, or they could trade with other countries. So it's fascinating how it all builds up over years.
Oh, let's face it, the Americans, they're bullies, right? That's just the bottom line, right? But it's like, well, the reason why they do that is to remain the world order, right? But the flip side of that is the benefit of that is there's they try to keep relative peace, If they need some more oil, they just invade another country. But it's not like, they're trying to just make the world work in the sense that we don't get these countries invading other countries. But yeah, I don't know. It's a lot's going to happen over the next sort of decade or so. Certainly going to be a lot of stuff happening, both good and bad, in the next till the next decade, 2030. So
But you can be sure Bitcoin is still going to be 21 million coins.
So that's never going to change. It's probably actually better because it's going to be, apparently 300,000 Bitcoin are lost a year from people losing their shit. So
yeah, it happens all the time.
Just keep on hodling your Bitcoin and let everything else that that's going to happen. It's going to happen because it is. But we just keep on getting our Bitcoin, and a lot of stuff we do is we talked about, really important stuff like the cost of living and the retirement and stuff. That's really important, especially if you're our age, because you want to make sure that you have enough money, obviously, when you get older, when you retire, and also the way you can do that is Bitcoin. Just get 2 to 3 Bitcoin, and if it goes to $1 million, there's 2 or 3 million that you can have, as well as with the money that you have, other money that you have, in your normal life in your bank, and then maybe you might have some assets if you have your own house, whatever, and that'll be another asset, and then you'll have your superannuation. So you're probably, many of us are probably 15 to 20 years away from our retirement. Kind of like we're in the 40s, most of us anyway, could be younger. So it's something to think about. But the good thing about it is we can use a different wealth building strategy, and it's so fucking simple. It's just buy Bitcoin and hold it, and we can use that to top up what we already have. And it's just like money that's going to grow over time. Over the next 10 years is nothing. It's nothing. 10 years is nothing. So do that, and that's what I preach anyway. Anyway, other than that, I know we talked a lot about stuff that wasn't related to crypto, but it was kind of like indirectly related to it in a way. So hope you got some value. I know we've kind of rabbited on, but those things are important, starting to think about what you're going to do when you retire, because you don't need a hell of a lot of money, and Bitcoin's going to get you that money, in my opinion. So, yeah, thanks for the questions, guys. Oliver as well, good to see you. And, unless you got anything else, that was some good information you shared. I didn't know about that. I'll keep an eye on that.
Yeah, no, that's all good. No, I think we'll wrap it up. We've had a good session.
Yeah. All right, guys, well, have a good week. I'll keep you posted on that KuCoin bot. If you want to get your own bot, just go to KuCoin.com and just scroll down. You'll find like a trading bot once you're in your account. And I'll keep on running it for the next couple of months to see if I actually turn a profit. If I turn a profit, I'll be wrapped, because it's just,
be sweet. And it's going to keep us updated in Discord.
Yeah, I'll post it in Discord. You can always join our Discord there. Just go to 100x Crypto Academy. Anyway, guys, we'll see you next week for a chat. And if you have any questions as well, just come on, have a chat, and we can always give you our point of view, which may not always be right. All right, guys. Thanks. Have a good week. Have a good week, and we'll see you guys later on.
Guys. Bye.